Math. Just hearing that word causes many people a range of emotions depending upon their personal experiences. Think back to a moment ago when I said the word math. How were you feeling? Were you truly excited or a little bit anxious that I was going to be talking about math? Mentioning the word math can lead to awkward silence and nervous laughter. And why is that? Why is talking about math such a conversation killer? It's almost as if I said math like a four-letter bad word. I know, I get it. It happens to me all the time. When I'm meeting new people and I say, I teach middle school math, I can almost expect the reaction. Blank stares, crickets, silence. So I wonder if it's the memories of how we learned math. I'm old enough to remember that math equaled one thing: rote memorization. Okay, I'm not quite this old, but for me, classrooms looked more like this. All day, we sat in our desks, arranged in rows with our textbooks open, doing endless pages of questions, or copying notes from the board. But the instructions were simple. Be quiet, no talking, just sit and get. While I don't remember how the teacher taught the math, I do remember how I felt. Confused, embarrassed, and ashamed that I didn't understand the math. And here's something you may not know. Math anxiety is real, and it's more common than you may realize. In fact, 60% of the population at one point in their life has experienced math anxiety. In fact, 20 to 25% of the population in a math class has experienced moderate to high levels of anxiety. So that means, as a math teacher, a quarter of my students could be struggling. In the UK alone, math anxiety costs the economy £338 million per week. That's per week. Research shows that poor numeracy skills impacts job opportunities, economic stability, life, and health. Whether you're cooking, shopping, managing debt, or budgeting, math is everywhere, and yet so many people struggle with math. I get it. Math anxiety almost ruined my life. I grew up in a complicated family situation and attended 8 different schools. Over the years, I had moved sometimes 2 and 3 times in 1 year. Keep in mind that math is a subject that builds upon prior knowledge. So each new move meant a new teacher with different teaching styles and sometimes entirely different curriculum. At times, it was almost impossible to keep up. And much like the game of Jenga, with the gaps in my knowledge, compounded with my math anxiety, it all came crashing down. I quit high school because of math. And I'm not alone. In the US, 80% of the students who dropped out of high school said they did so because of math. But surprisingly enough, I didn't grow up hating math. I was curious. Why didn't I get it? So it was that curiosity that led me back to school in my late 30s. And it was there that I had the biggest aha moment of my life. Math did not rely on rote memorization. Instead, there were different ways of teaching and learning. My instructors, their lessons included games, visuals, hands-on activities to help us solve problems. And for the first time, math was starting to click. It was making sense to me. Do you remember high school trigonometry and all the formulas we had to memorize? Oh, I struggled trying to keep them all straight. But it was in a university math class that I saw a visual representation of the Pythagorean theorem. And for the first time, I could see that a squared plus b squared did equal c squared. And I couldn't help but wonder, why didn't somebody show me this when I was in high school? So here's the thing. Whether you hated math or loved math, learned math at homeschool or in a classroom halfway around the world, we have all been in math classes. And based on our personal experiences, we have all developed ideas on how we think math should be taught. What if, instead of focusing on grades and rote memorization, we approached math with empathy? That would mean not only honoring math anxiety, but also appreciating the emotional journey of learning. To recognize math anxiety and student learning, we would honor what students are learning. What if we shifted away from and created safe learning spaces where students were free to ask questions, express confusion, and take risks, knowing that every struggle was a step towards growth and confidence? Take a moment now and think about your personal relationship with math. Did you struggle with math growing up? Have you had or do you have math anxiety? Is math holding you back from pursuing your goals and your dreams? My high school self would be shocked to know that I graduated from university with a degree in education and I teach middle school math. She'd be even more surprised to see me here now, sharing with you my passion for teaching and learning. But this conversation isn't just about me. It's about all of us. As a society, we need to change the narrative. Because math isn't a bad four-letter word. Let's talk more about math.